Welcome one and all, it's Jordan here from SwitchWatch, and today we're taking a look at... Thanks for that. It's an arcade racer and we're going to jump in and see what it's all about. This is Cruis'in Blast. You can often judge an arcade racer by its theme song alone. Daytona USA is one of the best arcade races of all time, not because of its fantastic gameplay, but solely down to its theme tune. So how does Cruis'in Blast hold up? Pretty well. On the theme song alone, it is an 8 out of 10. Very solid indeed. Thanks for watching this review. Well, if you insist on more than just that, let's take a look at the gameplay. So arcade racing is somewhat of a lost art. There are plenty of games in the arcade racing category. I mean, we made a whole video about them on the Switch, but very few actually go for a proper arcade experience, like a game you'd see in the arcades in Skegness 20-25 years ago. Well, Cruis'in Blast is one of those few games, a proper arcade cabinet from 2017, now enhanced for the Nintendo Switch, and I could not be happier. I was hoping for a console version when I saw the arcade announcement. I mean, it is a Nintendo franchise technically, so yeah, I want to play Nintendo games even if they're just short, quick burst arcade experiences. I want to play them. But this is more than the arcade version. The arcade version only had 5 tracks, where this has a few dozen. Yeah, there is some repetition with elements and locations being reused, but when that occurs, I think they change it up enough, as there's always something different going on around the race, whether there's dinosaurs rampaging, or maybe it's raining this time, the time of day, and even the layout is switched up. This is basically a theme park ride. They are turning up the ridiculousness to maximum. You'll be driving through tornadoes, over the Hollywood sign, over lava flows and glaciers. It is wonderfully stupid, and that is a fantastic phrase for this game. Put it on the box art, wonderfully stupid. Jordan from SwitchWatch. The racing is almost second fiddle to the showcase of what's going on around you. It is all a complete facade though, as it doesn't particularly affect what's going on with the race. Getting blasted by a UFO doesn't do anything, driving into a Brontosaurus's foot doesn't do anything, it's all just for show. And thank God, because if they did affect the race, because of so much crap going on, it would be almost unplayable. You'd be getting hit every 5 seconds with stuff. Giant donuts hitting you, tanker trucks hitting you, dinosaurs, it's just, there'd be too much crap going on, and you'll be thankful that it's all just a showpiece. The races are short and to the point, over in less than 2 minutes, sometimes even less than a minute, which always takes you by surprise. There's no laps, it's just a dash to the goal, and with 10 cars competing, things get absolutely hectic. There is little time for the pack to spread out, so it's a frantic 2-minute blast where anyone can win and anyone can come last. Now there are 4 difficulty levels, and on the standard normal difficulty you'll be winning quite regularly as long as you save your boosts for the right time. But when you unlock the tougher difficulties, well, then you're fighting tooth and nail to get that gold. Each of the tracks in the campaign mode and in the classic mode have 3 keys available to pick up during the race. Sometimes they can be difficult to see and hard to actually get unless you're aware in advance, plus not forgetting the multiple routes that can occur during races. This is where most of your time will be spent if you want to unlock all the vehicles, ranging from your standard licensed cars to a monster truck and even a hammerhead shark. There's plenty of vehicles ranging from the sublime to the ridiculous. Personally, I was in a real Harry Potter mood and I went for the purple double-decker. The more you use a vehicle, you can level them up, which improves their stats and allows them to get pimped out with neon trimming, decals, and oversized engines. It is worth taking the time to level them all out just to see how extravagant they actually get, especially with the more oddball vehicles in this game. It's a really odd, strange incentive, but it really works. I wanted to see them, so I was playing in order to level them up. Although if that's not much of an incentive for you, it will be quite difficult for you to put too much time into the game, as the single player campaign are pretty par for the course in terms of, other arcade races, kind of like Mario Kart. It's over in a few hours. Depth is not this game's strong point. I mean, my daughter jumps in puddles deeper than this. but it does try to add some mastery to the weirdness, such as doing tricks while jumping over ramps and stuff like that. Plus, you can do flips off other races, which is always hilarious. Do not go into this game expecting something revolutionary. Don't go in expecting a serious time sink. Don't go in expecting depth. It's just a showpiece, like one of those theme park attractions that are more about simulations than actual moving components. It is ridiculousness dialed up to 11, and yet it never feels like it's trying too hard, even though it really is trying so hard. There is one major complaint I have with this game, and it's a very serious major complaint as well, and it's the fact that I cannot spell the name of the game correctly the first time of trying. I mean, you try it, Cruis'in Blast, you cannot spell that correctly the first time of trying, because that apostrophe does not go where you think it's going to go. Try. I think I'm having a bit of a crisis of confidence with this one, mainly because I bloody enjoyed it, but I do wonder if I'm just going to be one of the few people who will see the treasure within. Am I a simpleton for liking this? I really don't know. I'm worried that most people will see this as a one-note, shallow, cheap-looking game, and I get that because it is. It's true. And it's been in the back of my mind since I first played like my first race. But did it stop me from having a great time? No. Will it stop others having a great time? Maybe. It's all about your mentality. I am a simple guy. Visually, it's hardly spectacular. Some of it looks really nice. Other bits, look a few generations behind, as though it could be from the Nintendo 64 game, which, actually adds quite a lot of charm to it. But it does run really smoothly, which is probably more important for a racer and why some areas don't look as good as they could. Where a game like this can live or die is in its multiplayer, Like I said, the single player is pretty much par for the course with any arcade racer. It's enough, but you just wish there was a little bit more to it. So that's where multiplayer comes in to give it some legs. And with Cruis'in Blast, it is hit and miss. Firstly, and most brutally, there is no online play, and that is a shame. A big one. Not gonna lie, but there is split screen for up to 4 people to play on the same sofa. And yes, I managed to coerce a few people over to let them play, and they had a fun time with it, getting absorbed in the absurdity. It's also fantastically welcoming. Firstly, because they see a neon-trimmed hammerhead shark as one of the vehicles, and instantly relax, thinking, okay, this is not serious, let's just have fun. I don't need to worry about doing well. And also, anybody can pick up and play it and, actually do well in it. I mean, one of the friends that came around plays no games at all, like zero. They don't play video games, probably never had. And yet, they came first at least 2 times in about 20 races. But the point is, you can still play this with zero gaming experience and still have fun and competing at the same time. And that's important, it's welcoming. Your relatives or friends are not going to get left in the dust thinking that they can't compete. If we ever go back to the days of house parties or something, this is a good one to put on for an hour or so. It's probably even better with booze. I need to try that. There's a couple of multiplayer modes, but we found the best one to be the first to 3 wins. It was always kind of tense, and I do want to say that the game pretty much ran flawlessly even with 4 people. That surprised me. There is also local play, so if other Switch owners have the game too, you can have your separate screens in order to compete, which is a nice touch. So the game is available physically in all regions. It's not a full price title, it's £35 on Amazon UK and $50 for the US version. If you want to own it physically and support us at the same time, then consider using the links below in the description and the pinned comment. Digitally it's cheaper in the US, $40, and in the UK it's £30 once more, and in Europe it is €40 on the eShop. I think that's a fair price as long as you have friends to play with. If you're planning on just single playering it, then you may want to consider its longevity. There's multiple difficulties and plenty of vehicles to level up, but I'm steering towards a 6 to 8 hour mark in terms of doing everything the single player has to offer. If you want to do the minimum completion stuff like unlocking all the cars, probably around 5 hours, and if you don't care about that, you just want to get gold, probably only maybe 2 hours, I would say. But that is par for the course when it comes to arcade races. I mean, just look at Mario Kart, yeah? Overall, well, as I just mentioned, a game like this can live or die depending on its multiplayer. The lack of online is a big blow. And although I can't imagine it being like a cutthroat competitive game due to a lot of the wacky randomness, I think it would still have been fun to race people online. If you've got friends near, or you're ready for some gaming nights, this would be a perfect addition. If you're just a single dog, as they say here in China, then you probably need to, consider it a little bit more. But this is just pure fun to me. Crazy, wacky, over-the-top nonsense that is perfect for pick up and play gaming sessions. The quirkiness may wear off during extended play, but still, it can bring that delightful arcade feeling into the home. And it's a feeling that I haven't had in a long time, maybe since the Dreamcast. I can just imagine playing this like in Cleethorpes when I was a kid. It's just something you don't get these days. Nice weird tracks, nice weird vehicles. It's just a shame about the online, or lack thereof. I know not everyone is going to see through my eyes, so if you're not as amused by the short nature and the shallowness of it all, please feel free to mark this score a bit lower, because I realize I may be a bit of a simpleton. Personally, I'm giving this an 8 out of 10. Alright, many thanks for watching this review. Big up to our executive producers Dane Wilkinson, God of Resin, Boombox, Brent McLean, Jonathan Rumor, Santa Tartaruga, Alexander Cato, J Cross 7776, Elisa, Punky Deuster, Michael Del Polito, Cartoon Soren, Jack Severus, Vilos, Robotech, and Z. Thank you for your fantastic support. Plus you, yes, you watching right now, if you watched all the way through, you are a legend. Do you know that? If you are one of the ones who watched all the way through, then you are the ones who help us grow. And I want to know who you are. In the honor of the weirdness on show here, you give me a shark emoji in the comments, and I will give you a UFO one back. Check out the review of Toem from yesterday, our Monday's Physicals video in which this game featured, and also some digital bargains every Sunday if you want to save some cash. We'll see you guys over there. Have a good one.